Okay, well, folks, thank you for joining us today and on such short notice. I do need to give you an apology about the notice. We got the communication for this, the communication plan mixed up in our office, and it did not go out as soon as we would have liked, and that was my fault. What we'd like to do today, we'll hold this one as scheduled. Appreciate you being able to make it. We're recording as always, and we will be posting the link. I should be by Monday on the high school webpage. And then I will be reaching back out to music parents directly to see if folks who couldn't attend today would really like another synchronous live session, just dedicated to second semester music, sort of see what that need is. At the very least, we'll be posting the recording as always, and then we'll do what we need to do to follow up with the rest of the music parents and guardians. Just a reminder of a reminder for those of you who have participated in second semester coffee talks before, and then a word of what these are about to those who haven't joined us. We hold this round in January to kind of anticipate second semester. Typically, this is a forum for parents of second semester seniors to think about the run through the spring and the move toward commencement. We get a lot of junior parent questions about the start of the college process, college application process, and we can speak to that. And then because of everything else going on, you're welcome to ask any manner of question, whether it be about COVID or the school's inclement weather plan. Anything's fair game. And we will use the Q&A function for that. And then we'll just take those questions in order until we've answered them all. So I'm going to stop talking now. Welcome again, and I'll turn it over to Dean Rose for a few quick words of introduction.
Welcome, everyone. For those of you in the area, I hope you're staying safe and warm with all the weather. We've had a very unusual start to this semester. Omicron, obviously, transmissibility has caused us to tighten down some of our protocols, and then the weather has disrupted things. That's been fun. My kids are still off school for some reason, but we're back and raring to go now. So just a few things. We've had to, as I said, kind of tighten up some of the protocols from last semester. We really want to keep the students safe from transmission when they're in their classrooms, when they're in rehearsals or performance situations. But fortunately, we haven't had to cancel or postpone any of the student performance activities. We've rearranged some rehearsals. We've reduced the orchestra a little bit in the opera orchestra so that when they go into the pit, they'll be able to distance safely. Who needs a tuba in the orchestra anyways, right? No, I'm just kidding. But we're proceeding with that, and we're going to open in a week with that, and things are looking pretty good. So I'm interested to hear all your questions and get into a conversation with all of you.
Thanks, Saxon. And Kara, thank you for your kind words. That's really sweet. Okay, so again, if you would use the Q&A function for submitting your questions, and then we'll just distribute them out to the appropriate person. So as we wait for them to come in, Yasmin, would you like to talk a little bit about the upcoming meetings with juniors?
Sure, absolutely. So hey everyone, coming up in the beginning of February, I will be inviting all of our juniors to, well, our music juniors to meet with me to kind of go over course planning and start the college application process. So we'll be looking at what remaining graduation requirements the juniors may have for senior year, as well as going over Naviance and looking at some of those tools and resources that'll be helpful as they start the college application process this summer. Brock and I are also going to be hosting a separate coffee talk for parents of rising juniors, just to kind of go through Naviance again and make sure that everyone's on the same page with that platform, and to provide y'all with any tools and resources as you all start the college application process with your students. So yeah, fun stuff coming up.
Thank you.
Of course.
We do have a couple questions now. Sorry, Saxon.
Martin, if I might
Yeah,
just tag on that for
Yeah.
juniors as they approach the summer, depending on what your student is envisioning doing on the college level. If it includes continuing in music, you might want to encourage them, with the guidance of their major teacher with whom they're working here right now, to not only investigate appropriate college conservatory programs, but see in what ways they might be able to reach out and start to have direct personal contact with a prospective teacher. That student-teacher relationship in the major area, as you know, is so vitally important. And being able to have a trial lesson, maybe identifying a summer festival where that teacher is in residence for a week or two, and the student can go and interact with them. Those can be really rich and beneficial opportunities to experience firsthand.
Thank you.
And I'll
So we
answer
have-
the question there about Gray Building. Gray Building is closed when we go to condition 2. All the buildings on campus, we restrict access because of the weather and the pathways being dangerous, crossing around campus. However, I know that the challenge for music students is access to the practice rooms, which are on the first floor in Gray Building. And so we've had discussions through this process about ways in which we can open those practice rooms. And we were able to do that. What day was that? Was that Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
It was Tuesday, yes.
We were able to make sure that that pathway from the Commons building to the Gray, that is that the north side of the campus? Well, that access point was safe, and so we got access to the practice room for the music students. When in condition 1, the buildings were open and they'll be able to get in there as normal. I hope that answers the question.
Will the in-person college audition go on as planned this weekend?
Yes, in fact, they're happening as we speak.
Great. Next one is, I'd like to ask a question on behalf of my junior. How does one register or get involved in a small ensemble for credit? My son has made this interest known to his teacher, but other than that, he doesn't really know how the process works. And he plays piano.
So that would be a chamber music assignment. And chamber music assignments are generally made by the faculty of the student, but in collaboration with the other faculty in that department who are going to be doing coachings or guiding the students, whether it's piano and strings or piano and winds, together in that process. The difficulty with piano is that aligning chamber groups with mixed instruments is sometimes challenging with schedules and rep. But if the student is really interested in getting into a chamber ensemble, I think I could follow up with the faculty member. And who is this? Veronica, if you want to follow up with me, then I can get into a conversation with the faculty member and see what we can do. It may just be a matter of scheduling. It may be a matter of having some conversations with some of the other faculty of the instruments which would participate in that chamber ensemble. So yeah, just follow up with me and happy to kind of spur that along.
There's a question about COVID protocols and how those might evolve early into second semester. Will it be a week-to-week update? Specifically interested in projected return to in-person lesson for woodwinds. Again, thank you.
We should be in most cases back to in-person lessons for woodwinds. We were only for the first week not doing any unmasked activity on campus as folks returned from wherever they were traveling. There were delays in the testing process because of just the availability of tests in town and throughout the country. But we're back to in-person. If there's some extenuating circumstance with one of the faculty traveling or something that may prohibit that. But otherwise, as a school, we're completely back to in-person individual private lessons.
And I'll just add, we are right now meeting 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just to do those regular updates and make sure there are no immediate pivots that we need to make because of, increased incidence of positives or something like that. So we probably won't continue with tri-weekly meetings, but we will hold regular check-ins to see if we need to do something different. Brock and Yasmin, there's a question about music faculty provided training in Naviance, which I don't think they are right now, but a question about them successfully getting recommendations into the system.
Sure, Yasmin and I both can, I'll start, but we typically have worked with one-on-one with faculty as they need assistance. That said, we're happy to reach out to a faculty member specifically if a student, if their teacher's having an issue. We also have some tutorial notes from Naviance that we can send to faculty. So Yasmin and I can follow up and make sure that first of all, that the music go through, make sure music faculty letters are getting sent, and in addition, provide some Naviance assistance. So thank you.
I'll just say too, if a student requests a letter of recommendation from a music faculty and that connection seems to not be being made through the kid's Naviance account, Yasmin and Brock, do a great job of following up on that and making sure that those materials are getting where they need to go. So we don't just assume that faculty in the arts programs will necessarily know what that means, when they get a Naviance request.
And to the question about voice students, particularly with voice students, the kind of the situation in the lessons is a bit challenging because we often have a pianist too. So there'd be the teacher, the student, and the pianist in a smaller space. So the challenge there has just been in finding larger spaces for those private lessons to occur. Last year, we had that built into our scheduling system, and this year we've had to do it this week. So that's been the only hiccup there, but the plan is for them to be able to be unmasked, certainly in their lessons beginning next week. And if it means being in a larger space to make it safe, then that's what we'll do.
Heard there maybe do you see that one, Saxon? Some discussion regarding adding a musical theater concentration to the voice program on the college level. Can you tell us more? Any development, specific plans or timeline?
There certainly has been discussion. We're working on a pretty significant curricular revision to the undergraduate curriculum right now. And included in that is talk about minors. So we're talking about adding minors to the undergraduate curriculum, which certainly might include musical theater. So there are topics of discussion now are in jazz and pedagogy and recording and engineering, and a minor in opera, a minor in musical theater. These are all on the table, and they're in really serious discussion amongst our faculty right now. And I have a lot of support for the musical theater opportunities. My wife is heavily involved in musical theater, and it's something I enjoy. And I think that there are a lot of opportunities for our students professionally in that area. So we're really working on it. I am fully supportive of this. What we want to do is make sure that we do it right. And I think part of doing it really well here is getting a lot of participation throughout campus, not just in the School of Music, because we have an excellent dance program, an excellent drama program. It makes sense that we'd all be collaborating together to do the musical theater with just those assets and incredible faculty and experience that we've got here. So it may take some time, but we're absolutely working on it. I wish I could give you a timeline, but we're just not there yet.
Is the health center going to be offering COVID booster shots, or do we need to look off campus? I do not know the answer to that, but I'm going to try to get the answer before the end of the coffee talk. So I will reach out to them right now. What if a faculty member tells the student that she doesn't do Naviance and refuses to use the system?
Well, I can start. It'd be helpful if I knew who that faculty member was and reached out to them. But we have arts faculty use Naviance all the time regularly, so it would just be real helpful to be able to deal with that instance individually and maybe solicit the help of Dr. Winkleman in that.
Sure, I think that's something that we could help facilitate, and just if it's a matter of training or simply just awareness, we can absolutely help there.
Yeah, I would say in general, if anytime a student is having difficulty with any part of the application process, to go straight to Yasmin. And she and Brock can help sort of get the pieces in that are missing.
So to the parent of the student whose teacher doesn't do Naviance, why don't you reach out to Brock? Is that the best way? And then we'll put our heads together and spur that along.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you, Susan.
Yeah, thank you.
Nancy plays for my bassoon students too, and she's a treasure.
Appreciation for the collaborative pianists. And David.
I'm
Is there
glad
a
Noah was able to
possibility
do
that-
his. I'm glad Noah was able to do that online audition. We were a little worried with the weather. We'd have to go to Plan B, but we lucked out.
Any possibility the health center can offer asymptomatic COVID testing for college auditions? Currently, my student said they are only doing it on Tuesdays, which does not work for weekend auditions. I suspect that as a matter of capacity, the answer to that is no. I can include that question in trying to get these answers. You could also reach out to the health center directly, and that they could speak more specifically to plans that they may be working on. Hit a lull. Saxon, David, you want to mention any performances we might have coming up?
Tomorrow night is Low and Lower. It is our cello faculty Brooks Whitehouse and bass faculty Paul Sharp, who have a duo. It's hard to describe. It has some comedic elements. These are usually themed, kind of scripted shows that they put together, sort of like a little musical. There is narration, rapping sometimes, but then also some incredibly virtuosic string playing. So it's a good time. It's a really enjoyable concert. And this is a new show, so they've had several different kind of, scripted shows in the past, and this is a brand new one. What is it called? Do you remember, David?
Off the Deep End.
Off the Deep End.
And also fun, they're including in this particular program a new composition by one of our undergraduate composition students, Drew Bansoff. And it's actually not for low and lower, it's for voice and lower. So Paul Sharp will be playing, but they have corralled in a relatively new voice faculty still, Phyllis Pancella. And I thoroughly anticipate it will be just a hoot. And the rest of the program is equally energizing and lovely. Dean Rose described it as kind of like a musical, and that's true. It's also part stand-up comedy routine. You really have to experience it to get the full flavor.
And Professor Pancella is a mezzo soprano, so in keeping with the low theme, the low voice in the soprano world. And then Sunday afternoon is our annual Mozart birthday concert. We celebrate the life of Mozart, and we have students and faculty performing on that, including one of our really celebrated alums, Rene Barbera, who's a tenor, and he's going to be singing 3 Mozart arias from different operas. We also have some faculty guests, and yeah, always a really, really nice evening. So both those are going to be from Watson Hall on campus, and they'll be live streamed too. So if you're not in the area, go to the events page, the UNCSA performance page, and you can sign on from there to watch the live stream.
Will low and lower be live streamed?
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
And there also was the Mahler performance recorded.
Yes, the Mahler was recorded, and that audio is all ready. We had a professional recording engineer come and do that. So I'm not sure the best way to kind of pump that out. We should talk about that and see if we can't put that recording out somewhere, maybe on the website or just privately, but we should do that. It was a wonderful performance.
Great, thank you. Hey, there's a shout out for Miss Bell. Just talked about all your work over winter break, and referenced specifically the January 1st, 8th, and 15th deadlines. Thanks, Miss Bell.
Of course.
That's great. Thank you all.
Well, then Tuesday night next week is the Jazz Ensemble concert. That's happening on campus at the Friedman Theater, just over there, just to the walking to the left of across the circle from Watson, the School of Music Building Complex. And we've got a guest vibraphonist, Jan Metzger, who will play with the group. So that's a student group, jazz ensemble, sort of a big band with the vibraphone soloist. Should be nice. Ron Rudkin is the faculty director for that. That will not be live streamed because it's in Friedman, but it's a large theater. If you're worried about the distancing or safety in that, it's a large theater and should be plenty of room to spread out.
Any updates on the Title IX class action lawsuit and proposed revisions to those policies to address concerns for underage students living in dorms and studying on a college campus among adult faculty and students? We don't have any updates on the lawsuit at this point. I know that there have been a number of revisions, over the last decade and a half, to address those concerns when they came to light, I think for the, in the 90s, and we continue to look at those. I don't know, do you have anything to add to that, Saxton?
No, just that the policies that are in place, as you said, were created when these things came to light, and as I understand it, they're among the strictest policies of college campuses throughout the U.S. and just in terms of relationships between students, faculty, and staff. So it's certainly something we're looking at constantly every day, re-examining, but I don't know that we're updating or revising based on the lawsuit right now.
Yeah, I will say we have what they call a tabletop exercise that a number of us in upper administration will be participating in next week, just as part of a review of policies around discipline, and these sorts of things, and what our collective response looks like, should look like, when those sorts of unthinkable things do happen. So as Saxton said, it is something that we continue to think about, and make sure that we are following the policies, what our policy regime stipulates for these sorts of things when they come to us. So, and that's happening next week. Just a nice comment about loving the addition of the music and class, that it was really helpful in providing additional essay writing material.
For those of you who aren't in a position of being familiar with that class, 2 years ago, it was in the middle of the beginning stages of the pandemic, the beginning of the eruption of just the much more poignant awareness of EDIB issues across the country, but also wanting to have ways of more substantially engaging students here on campus. I know I was thrilled that we were able to imagine a special topics course available for high school seniors who've been here. They've had our music theory and musicianship, or those basic skills courses. And this was an alternate opportunity for them to engage with music like they've been able to do through the music analysis and literature class. But this became an alternate way for students to engage, but through a little bit more topical rather than chronologic sort of way. And the teacher, who is a musicologist, Dr. Kate Storhoff, has structured 6 units, 3 per semester, that challenge students to engage music and fill in the blank, music and protest, music and environment. She has creatively imagined ways to help students connect what they're experiencing as classically trained musicians with other currents, some of them more popular music, some of them very directly connected to social issues. And I'm just thrilled that it's been resonating with the students. So thank you for your affirmation.
Just, I guess I'll just mention another word about the last question about sort of Title IX policy on campus, just so that you all are aware. I mean, this group in this multi-hour exercise, will involve all of the deans from all the arts programs and high school academics, DLA at the college level, but also general counsel, our Title IX compliance officer, key members from student affairs. There will be representatives from campus police. There will be 25 to 30 people around the table so that we can, again, just make sure that we're consistently responding to these concerns in appropriate, consistent, and coordinated ways. So I do appreciate the concern and the question.
Martin, can we talk about the attendance?
Oh, we
Policy.
sure can. Hey, Kim.
Hello. Do you want to do that or you want me to?
Well, we could tag team. Might be
Okay.
a few of us that want to speak to this. Got a great question yesterday in the dance coffee talk about just attendance procedure. The question yesterday was specifically around going to in-person auditions and wanting to make sure that they had notified the right people, but it could really be for any sort of planned absence. In the academic office, we have what we call the purple sheet. It's purple. And we ask students to come by and pick it up and then go have a conversation with each of their teachers, and then bring it back to the office. We put this in place really just because we want the student and the teachers to have a conversation before the student goes away, to help with the planning around makeup work. And then David, what does that process look like in music?
It looks similar, but we don't have the cool purple. It's just a plain boring white.
We can
But
get you some purple
kind of
paper.
idea. And what we're trying to prompt is conversation and planning ahead between the student and their faculty, so that as they leave and do these very important things, we can help support them and they can continue to be as fully engaged with what needs to happen when they get back to campus. There's a plan already in place for how they're going to catch up and all of that.
Then the final part of that process after they've done the form is we need a parent or guardian to email Kim and just verify the absence. We also know that sometimes these things happen in a way that they can't be planned, or that it doesn't, the timing of the purple sheet doesn't work. And that's also totally fine. If a parent or guardian can just email Kim on our side and let us know what's happening. David, who is that person for music?
These written sheets, the white forms, are simply delivered to Karina Corallo, who sits at our front desk and is the music office coordinator. And then if there are any questions, concerns about it, it finds its way to me. But if everything seems to be in order, then we're good.
Great. Where is this music? This is a question, David. Where is this music form to be filled out for off-campus auditions to be picked up?
It's available in the music office, right in the open front area.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And ours are too.
I'm going to have to consider getting some sort of cool color that will complement the purple.
just let us know.
Maybe we'll do pickle green.
There you go. Folks, oh, here we go. So there's some lamentation about the state of the food options, particularly as the cafeterias tried to put in more grab and go options as students have come back to campus. I know they're working, I can just say, I know they're working really hard in student affairs and in dining services to, I don't know, just deal with restrictions that were really delivered to them pretty late in the game with the return to campus. So we'll certainly pass this along, but know too that they're working really hard.
And the music office is located in the School of Music complex, which is the building with Watson Recital Hall. And it's just to the right of the library at the circle at the top of the hill.
And as another point of reference, it's also the building in which large ensembles rehearse and in which cantata singers rehearses.
Folks, we don't need to keep you for the whole hour. Yes, one more. Parents mentioning a heat issue in rehearsal room 167. I understand that room continues to be very cold. Is there any remedy to heat in that practice room?
That's something we can investigate. I can do that right now after this meeting and get our facilities team involved. And I know that they monitor that and that there are thermometers in those rooms, but I will get on that right away. My office has gotten cold sometimes, I know, with the weather, and take some monitoring.
So there's a question about religious freedom and how the policy applies across studios. In general, there's a UNC system policy that allows students a certain number of absences associated with religious practice. David and Saxon, could you the question Q&A is, asking about taking Sabbath off for practice, or I guess there was a case where a required master class was held on Easter Sunday.
I think I'd really like to have some specific information about those instances, and I'd be really interested to talk to you personally. So just reach out. Certainly, we don't have a policy that would prevent any of our students from participating in their religious holidays and their practices. So that's something I'd be very interested to work with you personally on. Well, please reach out and then I can address that.
Thank you. Well, folks, as I said at the beginning, they usually get the recording back to us in a day or so. I would think we'll have this up on Monday. And again, I will be reaching out to all music parents and guardians to see if there's a need for another live synchronous session. Folks are also welcome to email any of us directly at any point if you have questions. I did get an answer back about booster shots and additional asymptomatic testing. They just don't have the capacity for either right now. And I'm not, I did this over text, so I'm not sure if the booster shots, if that's a matter of just availability to us or the ability of our staff to handle that process on top of everything else they're doing. But the answer was unfortunately no in both of those cases. So sorry for that. Thank you, folks. Stay safe and warm this weekend, and hope to see you either virtually or in person where we can for the upcoming music concerts.
Good to be with you all. Thank you.
Be well, everyone.